Rodri's beautiful pass-like shot into the back of the net in the second half secured a 1-0 win for Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, and in doing so have written City into the record books, becoming only the second English team to win a league title, FA Cup and European Cup in a single season. This was always going to be a tactical encounter, and it proved to be one, with Pep changing things up for this game. This one felt different from the start, with Man City taking on a slightly different formation in their build-up, and that most obvious difference is John Stones' position. Instead of playing his usual double pivot role next to Rodri, he pushed up in a number 8 attacking midfielder position on the right. So instead of their usual 3-2-4-1 shape, it's a 3-1-3-3. The other difference you'll notice is the position of Kevin De Bruyne. Instead of taking up a position on the right, where he can be so devastating in the right half spaces, he's on the left. So in the early build-up stages, this sees De Bruyne acting as a left wing-back. It was very difficult for De Bruyne to get the ball in this position because Inter matched City up man for man, often leaving only the player with the ball free. Dzeko is blocking a pass into Rodri and is also ready to press the centre-back with the ball if the right time comes. The one advantage of having John Stones in this position though is that it did provide City with an outball, a way of getting past Inter's press. As a centre-back playing in this position, he is surely likely to win any header against his opponent. Inter have just started their build-up and have done what they usually do, and that is play the ball out to the wing-back, who is slightly deeper than he would want to be, from the impressive Onana. But because City have this formation, Stones is able to quickly close Dimarco down and force him into a hurried pass down the line. And it's here we can see why Pep has lined up in a 3-1-3-3 formation. The numerical advantage it gives Man City on the flanks, with the winger, number 8 and wide centre-back able to get to the flanks quickly. Here it's actually made up of Stones, Rodri and Akanji pressing on the right. Inter naturally defend in a 5-3-2 shape from their starting shape of 3-5-2, but this constantly allowed City's wide centre-backs to be free and progress the ball into Inter's half. Here you can see that the third centre-back, Darmian, has been forced to press De Bruyne, because City have numerical advantage on the left, and this has left a gap in the defence in the inside half spaces for Grealish to run into. He miscontrols the ball, but this could have been an opportunity for City. Right here in Inter's build-up, we can see that they have a problem. There is no obvious ball to play that will get them into City's half and penetrate their defence. City effectively have 4 players strung across the front, and they are not pressing. They are just waiting for Inter to find a route. This forces Inter to gradually go back towards their goal and open out the pitch. City's defensive formation, where they used a hybrid pressing system, was a 4-2-4, as this 4-2-4 saw the wide players covering balls into Inter's wingbacks in the middle third. As City spread out though, a gap started to appear in the middle, either side of the two, where Barella could often find pockets of space. In contrast to Inter, City usually found that they were able to spread out, covering all areas of the pitch in their build-up phase. The distances between the players are all equal, and when Stones moves into a more advanced midfield position, City would have formed the perfect 3-1-3-3 shape. The wide attackers, wingers, are hugging the touchline, forcing the Inter wingbacks to do the same. Inter's back 5 sees them have 2 centre-backs, not marking anyone, but ready to press in midfield if they need to. This creates a problem though, as City effectively have 6 attackers against Inter's back 5. So should one of the centre-backs step out, it would leave the extra player free to move into the very dangerous half spaces. Here we can see that City are trying to create an overload against the wing-back as Stones runs out into the flank. This would drag the defender, Bastoni, with him and leave space for Gundogan, lurking behind to move into the vacated space. As it turned out, Dimarco just won the race to the ball and Inter were able to counter and have a long-range shot that just went over the bar. The goal was along these lines. City created an overload in the final third with Akanji moving towards the Inter defence. So City had 4 players between the lines, and this made Bastoni step out to press, but he couldn't get a touch on the ball. Silva found space in the inside channel, and it was his shot that rebounded kindly for Rodri to finish. Inter's natural 5-3-2 defensive shape would see a single pivot form in the midfield, as the two midfielders either side would press, and also would want to form passing angles. This is where City were able to find the advantage in a very important area of the pitch. In the second half especially, Foden took up positions further forward and stopped the defender pressing, as this would leave gaps. This meant that City, with their superior numbers in midfield, could position players either side of the Inter pivot. This image highlights just how City wanted to stop Inter playing the balls to their wingbacks. It also shows how they wanted to stop Inter doing something that is a big part of their game, and that is push one of the wide centre-backs into the midfield, which would allow the wingbacks more space. As we said before, the 3-1-3-3 shape naturally gives them numbers in the wide areas, but it's also important to press Inter high up the pitch and shut off passing angles. This forced Inter into hitting long balls up to Lukaku in the second half. Of course, they always have a chance with Lukaku keeping possession. Inter have won the ball back and are trying to counter with Dumfries, and although Inter have 2 players on the wing, City have 4 and there is no way through, meaning Inter have to go back and start again. It's the same on the other side moments later. Inter have managed to get the ball to Mягko, and although Inter have 3 players in the wide areas, City have been able to get 4 players around the ball and outnumber Inter to win the ball back. This is one of the rare occasions where Inter have been able to do what they have done to so many teams in Serie A and the Champions League, and that is get Bastoni into advanced areas on the wing, to try and create an overload and get crosses into the box. This actually created space for Barrea in the half space to get a cross in. It's only after City scored that we saw Bastoni take up positions in midfield that he normally does, and this is when Inter's XG went up from 0.2 to 1.8. Was this because City sat back, or just because Inter became more attacking? Bastoni started to build combinations with Mягko, which is a big feature of Inter's game, and along with City being sloppy at the back, created chances that just wouldn't go in today. Having watched the game live, I felt that Inter's tactics were spot on and they were able to control City. Inter created some very good chances, and on another day they probably would have gone in. But after analysing the game, I came to realise that actually City were able to dominate the game in most areas. It was only with the heavy weight of expectations on their shoulders that the final pass or shot was not to their normal high standard. This can be put down to nerves brought on by pressure. Congratulations to Manchester City. They have been an even more phenomenal team this season under a coach that is proving to be the best of all time.